What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Namaste, Namaskram, Ram Ram Ji, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm gonna react to the biggest sins of Pandavas that caused their death after Mahabharata. Let's check it out. Much love to you guys. I've been reacting to Mahabharata for a long time, and I have enough information to understand who are the Pandavas and what's going on, what's gonna happen in the future and all that. So let's check it out and let's see what exactly was their biggest sin. Tell me what you think in the comment section down below. Let's go.
Krishna's death was a major blow to Arjuna. Despite having everything he had ever desired, he had lost interest in life. His troubled state of mind took him to sage Vyasa. Muni Vyasa suggested that he renounces everything and moves to the Himalayas. Abhimanyu's son Parikshit had also grown enough to take up the responsibility of the kingdom. Thus, Yudhishthira decided to bring his 36 years of rule to an end and coronated Parikshit as the emperor of Kuru dynasty. The five brothers and Draupadi agreed to go on Vanaprastha, a practice of giving up the world life and seeking liberation. They decide to climb the Mount Meru in the Himalayas. They climbed the steep mountain steadily for weeks and weeks on end. As they progressed in their journey, the mountains became steeper. One day, as they were walking up the mountains, Draupadi, the wife of the five Pandavas,
She
slipped
died.
and fell down the mountains. Four of the brothers were distraught. They screamed and mourned for her loss, but Yudhishthira did not mourn her loss. Being the Dharmaraj he was, he had to stand by and fulfill the commitment he took before starting the journey, which was giving up on the worldly life. Once you decide to give up on the world, loss or gain of family, children, money, or anything in the world should not affect you. Following his dharma, Yudhishthira walked by and did not even turn back at his wife's death. After some time, the four brothers caught up with him. An upset Bhima asks Yudhishthira, Why? Why did Draupadi had to fall? She had suffered so much in her life. She stood by us selflessly through our thicks and thins. Why did she fall? What wrong had she done? Yudhishthira said that there were many things that she had done wrong in her life, but the biggest sin amongst all was that she did not fulfill her commitment. Her commitment that she will love, respect, and devote herself to all her five husbands equally. But she did not fulfill that. She loved Arjuna more than others and longed to be his wife. She only fulfilled her duty with other Pandavas, while her heart truly was in love with Arjuna, the
Oh,
one who had won her over in the Swayamvara. Hearing Yudhishthira, the brothers continued to move forward in their journey. After some days, Sahadev, the possessor of enormous wisdom, dashed on the earth and fell down the mountain. Even at the demise of his brother, Yudhishthira did not turn back or mourn, but continued to walk by.
wow.
The brothers panicked and asked Yudhishthira, Why did Sahadev fall? He was saintly, he was wise, he knew what was right and what was wrong. He always chose to do the right things in life. He stuck to his promises unlike Draupadi's reason of demise. Then why did he fall? Yudhishthira says he died because of his pride. His pride and ego that made him think of himself as the most educated and the most reserved man. His infinite knowledge couldn't bring him to be humble, and that led him to his downfall. Nakula,
Wow.
after seeing the fall of Sahadev and Draupadi, was dejected and depressed. Losing his mind and senses after the tragedy, even Nakula dies. With no access to cremate or perform any rites, the brother in dismay walk by. Later in a conversation with Bhima, Yudhishthira says that Nakula's biggest sin was his pride of his looks. Nakula, born by the Ashwini Kumaras, was the most handsome amongst men in all of the land. The pride he took in his immense beauty, something that diminishes with time, was his sin. Considering others inferior because of his beauty was his biggest
Biggest
sin.
sin.
His vanity made him fall, says Yudhishthira. They continued their journey further. After a few days passed, Arjuna died. Bhima, now unable to bear the loss of his family, is shattered. His grief is inconsolable. Willing to find out Arjuna's sin, Bhima asks Yudhishthira, Why did Arjuna die? Yudhishthira explains to Bhima, Arjuna was insecure. but also suffered from vice of pride and vanity, thinking he was the most skilled, the most powerful hero in the world. He always disregarded others. He knew he was not the best archer. He was a great archer, but there were equally great archers like Karna and Ekalavya who were as good or even better than Arjuna,
Karna.
but they were devoid of opportunity because of not being a royal. This insecurity and viciousness against people who were as skilled as him, and the desire to be the best by defeating others, was his biggest sin. After answering Bhima, both brothers hurriedly walked further. At last, Bhima fell the mountain and passed away. Yudhishthira thought to himself that Bhima's sin was his greed for food. He lived to eat and would never care about the hunger of others. His life was about eating good food. He would also react without thinking, sometimes mocking people of their misery. His non empathetic nature that took pleasure of others' sufferings and thought that success is only fulfilled when you see your opponent suffer was the biggest sin of his life. Yudhishthira did not turn back once and refuse to mourn for anyone. He continuously reminds himself and says, I have renounced everything. He was only accompanied by a dog that followed the Pandavas from the moment they began their journey in Hastinapur.
Right.
Finally, both Yudhishthira and the dog reached the peak of Mount Meru. When they reach the peak, Indra comes down from heaven to receive Yudhishthira. He says, You have been a true Dharmaraj by being virtuous and righteous at all times. So you are welcome to Swargaloka. Yudhishthira suggests Indra that they should take the dog along with them to heaven. Indra refuses to take the dog on his divine chariot. Yudhishthira, being the righteous man he was, wanted to be fair and tries to convince Indra. He tells Indra that a journey of liberation that the most powerful, strong, and virtuous men like his brothers were unable to complete was fulfilled by this dog. If Yudhishthira gets to go to heaven because of climbing Mount Meru after truly giving up on everything, then the dog gets it too, because it did everything Yudhishthira did and perhaps deserves to be in heaven. Indra refuses again. Then Yudhishthira puts his foot down and says that he will not enter Swargaloka without the dog. He says, We both have equal merits, and I will enter Swargaloka with the dog or not at all, for the sake of justice. Indra is very pleased with his principles and stands towards justice, and says, You have once again shown integrity and proved to me why you deserve to enter heaven. He takes Yudhishthira and the dog with him to heaven. Yudhishthira receives a grand welcome in the heaven from everyone, but soon is shocked, angry, and disgusted to see Kauravas enjoying the pleasures of the heaven while his brothers and wife were suffering in hell.
The brothers and wife were suffering in hell. This this is um this is amazing, crazy, because I mean you can look at it and you see all the things, right, that happened and that led to their demise. And this we can learn from. Pride is something that is really, it can take you down. Pride, it can tear you down without any doubt. So we really need to look at that and be better. We really need to be better at that and just be better people in life, because it can really put you down. You can see all those that happen, and if you have by any way pledged to do something, you have to fulfill it. You have to fulfill it. All this that happened, all these sins that made them to fall, it's something that you have to take into consideration and learn from this. This is why they are there. This is why they are there. These stories are said. It's history. It happened, but they are being said as stories like this, that we understand and we get the important lessons that we can get from this. Anyway, I would love to hear what you guys think in the comment section. Much love to you. I appreciate you all. Take good care of yourselves. Peace.